Hola, bienvenido a estas clases de español en línea. My name is Frank Flores, and today we are going to talk about verbos reflexivos. Reflexive verbs. So, what is a verbo reflexivo? This is difficult to understand sometimes for English speakers because in English we don't have this concept. In other languages like French, German, Italian, Portuguese, yeah, it's easier to understand because they have also similar concept. And for the verbo reflexivo, there is an easy way how to recognize, and I love explaining with this picture. So look at this cat and the action that the cat is doing, and look at this dog and the action that the dog is doing as well. Look with the paws. So the cat and the dog are doing the same action, and the action in English is scratch. En español, rascar. First of all, so if we are going to analyze the first picture, so who is doing the action? El gato. So who is the subject, the sujeto? El gato. And in the second one is el perro. Now, in the first picture, who receives the action of the cat? So who is the object? Is el sofá. And in the second one is the same dog, el perro. This is something really important to understand because when the subject, el gato, and the object, el sofá, the one who is doing the action and the one that is receiving the action are different, that is a normal verb that we were learning all this time, like verbo rascar. But when they are gonna match, so that is a verbo reflexivo, rascarse. So how to recognize with this ending, rascarse, that we are gonna understand that is a verbo reflexivo. And now let's go to the conjugation, conjugación. If we have a normal verb, whatever verb, let's talk about rascar. So when I'm the subject and the object is something else. So in that one, we are gonna say yo rasco. Tú rascas, él rasca, nosotros rascamos, vosotros rascáis, ellos rascan. So remember, this is when I'm the subject and something else is the object. So if I will say yo rasco la pared, I scratch the wall. But what about now? So I'm doing to myself. So now that's the moment that we're going to talk about the verbo reflexivo, rascarse. Yo me rasco. I scratch myself. Tú te rascas. You scratch yourself. And let's keep going with this one. Él, ella, or usted se rasca. Nosotros nos rascamos. Vosotros os rascáis. And ellos se rascan. Something important for the next slide is going to be the name of this one. Me, te, se, nos, os, and se, that are called pronombres reflexivos, reflexive pronouns. So if we are learning a language and we don't want to know about grammar, it's not necessary to remember. But for the next slide, we are going to need to know what is a pronombre reflexivo. Yeah, and let's go to another verb, levantarse. So remember what's the meaning? The meaning is to get up. Yeah, if I will say I get up at 5, 6, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., so is yo me levanto. Tú te levantas. Él o ella se levanta, nosotros nos las levantamos, vosotros os levantáis y ellos se levantan. So we have a bunch of different verbs that they are gonna match of this explanation I told you when the subject and the object are the same, so verbo reflexivo. So many things that we are doing in our daily lives, normally in the morning, are verbos reflexivos. When we are going to the shower, so we are taking a shower, so that is ducharse. Lavarse, if I'm washing my hands, my face. So many of them, you're gonna find different verbs there. Yeah, and actually there is something else. There's another verbs as well that they are not completely doing by yourself or to yourself, like the ones that are related with feelings that are also verbos reflexivos, but in a proper way, verbos pronominales. So that one also we can learn in the online lessons. So book the lessons as well. I can explain you more about that ones. But to understand the idea, remember verbo reflexivo, to oneself. Now, posición del pronombre reflexivo. This is the reason. What is a pronombre reflexivo? Remember, me, te, se, nos, os, and se. Yeah. And so sometimes we are going to find that this pronoun, me, te, se, nos, os, se, are located in different positions, sometimes before or after the verb, but why? Yeah, and in which cases? So I will give you first the normal example when we have one verb, when the verb is just the reflexive verb or the pronominal, verbo pronominal. Yeah. So look at this example. Yo siempre me levanto a las 7 a.m. I always get up at 7 a.m. So if we are going to look for the verb, the only verb that we are finding in this example is levantarse. Yo me levanto a las 7. So the pronoun is always between the subject, yo, tú, él, and the verb. It's always there. So you will never say yo siempre levanto me. No, 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 never. Yeah, it's always before. And this is when we have just one verb. Remember, yo siempre me levanto a las 7. Yo me levanto, tú te levantas, él se levanta. Now, what about if we have two verbs? And for this explanation, yeah, we are gonna use verbo querer, like is gonna help us. So number one, antes del verbo conjugado. So let's see at this example. Mañana me quiero levantar a las 6. So here we have two verbs now. Verbo querer, that is conjugated, and verbo levantarse. So in this case, the pronoun, the reflexive pronoun, is antes, before del verbo conjugado, before verbo querer. So this is what is going to happen. This is the situation number one. Before. Mañana me quiero levantar a las 6 a.m. And the second option is going to be después del verbo infinitivo. So where is the verbo infinitivo here? Levantar. And actually, it's also the verbo reflexivo, the reflexive verb. Mañana quiero levantarme a las 6 a.m. Tomorrow I want to get up at 6 a.m. So both of them, this first example and the second one, has exactly the same meaning. So just we can say that this one, maybe the first one, is more popular and actually understood as more popular in general. Yeah, the second one as well. And so this is the two situations, when is antes or when is después, before or after. Something really important, the pronombre reflexivo will never be between the two verbs. Never, never. So it's impossible to say mañana quiero me levantar. Yeah. Or also you cannot do twice. It's impossible to say mañana me quiero levantarme a las 6 a.m. Even maybe you heard that one on the street. Yeah, sometimes people, Spanish speakers, we talk like that sometimes, but grammatically is incorrect. There are different verbs that they are gonna be helping in this way. Another one is verbo necesitar, deber, tener que. So, and actually, what happen if we have antes de, después de, if we have para? This is more explanation as well that we can find in our online lessons. So feel free to book a lesson with me. Feel free to actually now to send me a message and ask me about these cases that could be happening, and maybe yeah, this is gonna happen as well, not just in present tense like I explained you today. It also could be in past tense, in future, in in an action that is happening right now as well, like a progressive action will happen in all the time. Yeah. So, okay. See you in another video, and I hope you enjoy this explanation. Ciao.